Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you all enjoyed your spring break. Hopefully nobody's sick and everybody's well. I'm just going to try hard to do a bit of review on this one. So I'm going to do a couple videos just kind of going through the basics of what we were talking about before all this chaos hit. Some of you guys may remember it. If you do, fantastic. First one I'm going to do is just rectangular prisms really fast. We looked at surface area and we looked at nets, so I'm going to draw a picture of both. So if I start with a rectangular prism, it looks something like this. And I'm going to apologize, writing on an iPad is not my strength apparently. If this was 3 meters and this was 4 meters and this was 2 meters, we now have a rectangle. Ideally, we looked at nets with this, and our nets with this would look something like a base. So that would be the bottom piece. The front piece would be down here. The back piece would be up there. The side pieces. Sorry guys. And the last piece would be my top piece, and I'm just going to put my top piece over here. So you'll notice a couple of things. I'm going to number them. My sides, top and bottom, are 1 and 2. Those pieces are pretty standard. They're going to be exactly the same, and that's something to keep in mind. If I do my front and back would be 3 and 4, and then my side pieces can be 5 and 6. So I just use different colors to try and emphasize that we're doing different calculations for each one of those pieces depending upon what we're seeing. So that would be a net. And just a reminder, all surface area was the addition of all those sides together, right? So if we want to add these pieces together, all I have to do is find the area of each of those pieces. So I have to find the area of my top piece and my bottom piece. I have to add that with the surface area of my front and my back. And this is horrible writing, but my front and my back. And then I'm going to add my sides. So obviously there's a left side and a right side. So top would be numbers 1 and 2, front and back would be 3 and 4, and my sides are 5 and 6. So I just want to go through the steps really quickly in terms of how to do that. And I'm going to take my numbers. Hopefully you guys can see when I'm looking at surface area, and I'll go back to my orange pen here. When I'm looking at surface area for the top and bottom, I'm actually using these 3 and 4. And the reason I get that is because this is one edge of my bottom, and this is the other edge of my bottom. So using those two edges, I'm using the numbers 3 and 4. And that will kind of give me an idea of where I'm getting those measurements from. Okay, so I have a rectangle that's 3 by 4. We know the area for a rectangle is going to be, I'm just going to do this as separate pieces. We know the area for a rectangle for the top and bottom is essentially length times width. And the length is going to be, let's say, 4 meters. And the width is going to be my 3 meters. So all I'm doing is multiplying those. I get 12 meters squared. So knowing that that's 12, the important thing that we gotta kind of tie together is that we have 2 of those. We have a top one and we have a bottom one. So you can do it by timesing it by 2, or you can say I have a measure of 12 plus another measure of 12, and that gives me a total surface area for both of those of 24 meters squared. So top and bottom's looked after. So I'm going to take that 24 and I'm going to be adding it to my front and back. So just change color here. My front and back is going to have slightly different measurements. My front piece is going to have a measurement of the 3. You can see it there. And the edge here is going to be the same as this edge, which is going to be the same as this edge, which is going to be my 2. So now same logic. I'm going to go through the exact same steps. It is again a rectangle. So it's just a multiplication, and I'm simply looking at an edge of 3 by a width of 2. I'm going to say my area is 6 meters squared, and now it's just a matter of recognizing again, same way that I recognized before. I have a front piece and I have a bottom piece if you're looking at the net, and those front and bottom piece it's like doubling, so I could go 6 times 2, or I could go 6 plus 6, and I'm just going to do it as 6 plus 6. And we know that has an overall area of 12 meters squared. So right now my surface area is my 24 meters squared plus my 12 meters squared. And now I have to do my last one, and the last piece I have is my sides. And my sides on my original shape are going to be made up with this piece and this piece. So I'm using that 4 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Again, they're rectangles, so I can do my area is length times width. My area will be 4 times 2, and I get a net area, an area of 8 meters squared. And that 8 meters squared again is happening for both objects 5 and object 6. So both of them are the same. So I can go 8 plus 8, or 8 times 2, and I get 16 meters squared. So now I know that all I'm doing is looking for my surface area, and my surface area is the addition of all of those numbers. So my 24 meters squared plus my 12 meters squared plus my 16 meters squared. That's all it is. So I can calculate my surface area for a rectangle by adding these numbers together. 24 plus 12 is 36. 36 plus 16 is 46, is 48 meters squared. Hope that makes sense. Thanks.